Okay, so what's the absolute worst thing that can happen on a late night delivery? You get a wrong address, maybe a grumpy customer. Well, this game idea takes that simple thought and just drives it right into a full-on psychological nightmare. Let's dig into what makes the last delivery so darn creepy. It all kicks off with this one, simple, chilling line. See, this tells you right away it's not about what's in the house. The house itself is the threat. It just immediately sets the mood. You are not welcome, and yeah, you're being watched. All right, so let's get into it. Section 1, the late shift begins. This is where a seemingly normal delivery job starts to go very, very wrong.
The whole story gets started on Halloween night. I mean, it's the perfect setup for horror, right? It's the one night of the year where everyone's wearing a mask and you can't tell the difference between a harmless prank and a real threat.
And just to make things worse, you're totally isolated. There's no backup, there's no one you can call just to check in. It's just you, your delivery van, and a whole lot of darkness.
So your only lifeline, the one voice over the radio you should be able to trust, just sounds wrong. Is it just bad reception, or is it something else entirely? It's a little detail, but it really ramps up that psychological tension.
Your goal seems simple enough, you know? Just a list of addresses, like any other night. But you've got this sinking feeling in your gut. Finishing this route is going to be anything but routine.
And that brings us to Section 2, your first delivery. You pull up to the first house on your list, and this is where the game's core gameplay really begins. This is where the test starts.
It's such a classic horror movie moment, isn't it? The dark house, the porch light is off. That darkness feels intentional, like a warning. Are they not expecting a delivery? Or maybe they're expecting you a little too much.
And here we go, your first big decision. Just look at these options. Do you just walk up and knock? Do you play it safe and just leave the package on the doorstep? Or do you trust that gut feeling and maybe inspect the property? You could even call the police. The safest bet seems to be just driving away, but that might get you fired. Every single choice feels like the wrong one.
And that's the question, isn't it? It's at the heart of every single moment in this game. There's no obvious right answer, and every second you just sit there trying to decide, that feeling of being watched just gets stronger and stronger.
Which leads us to Section 3, the price of survival. Because your choices, they aren't just for show. No, every single decision you make feeds into this really complex system that's going to decide your fate.
Okay, so this right here, this is the engine that drives the horror. You're constantly juggling 3 stats. First up is sanity. As this stat drops, your grip on reality starts to slip. Whispers get louder, shadows start to move when you're not looking. Then there's suspicion. If you act weird, like peeking in windows or sprinting back to your van, people are going to notice. Some might even start following you. And finally, reputation. If you just chuck packages on lawns and speed off, your boss is not going to be happy. And that means when you really need to call for help, no one might pick up.
What's so brilliant about this is that you're in a constant state of juggling. A choice that might save your sanity, could send your suspicion through the roof, or completely wreck your reputation. It's this impossible balancing act with no easy way out.
So, let's move on to Section 4, the night watches back. Because it's not just about your choices, the world itself is an active character in this whole horror story. It is not just some static background.
The game uses a few key interlocking systems to make sure you're permanently on edge. Let's take a quick look at them. The phone system, the way you interact with the houses, and of course, the terrifying random events.
This is really where that environmental horror comes alive. Every single house is like its own unique puzzle box of dread. You have to train yourself to notice every little detail. A curtain twitching in a window, a strange sound coming from a garage, a car in a driveway that wasn't there a second ago, because any one of those things could be a clue, or it could be a trap.
And then, on top of all that, just to make sure you never ever feel safe, the game throws random events at you. The weather can change in an instant, your radio can suddenly fill with static and strange voices, or you might just catch a glimpse of a figure at the edge of the woods. Is it real? Is it in your head? You'll never be quite sure. So it all comes down to this one simple, absolutely terrifying goal. Can you survive it all and just make it to sunrise?
But hey, maybe you're sitting there thinking, this sounds manageable. I'm a horror game veteran. I can handle a few spooky houses. Well,
for you, there's Nightmare Mode, a difficulty setting that's specifically designed to break even the most hardened horror fans. The game's basically making a promise. You are afraid, you just don't know it yet.
And really, that brings us to the ultimate point. This isn't about getting a good score or beating a level. The stakes here are as high as they can possibly get. One bad decision, one single moment of hesitation, that's all it takes.
And that's really the question this whole experience leaves you with. When it's you out there, in the dark, with a strange package for an even stranger house, what choices are you going to make, and how will your last delivery end?